So people will call, and it's really hard to find a leak in a pool that's not leaking. I get out there, they hire me, and like that's the pet peeve. The pool's not leaking. The pool guys will make this mistake too.
Just evaporating.
Yeah. Like so the bucket test is a simple test that a homeowner, you can YouTube it. There's videos. It's on my website. Anywhere. Anybody that knows, like, you should know the bucket test.
Hey there, welcome back to the Local Legends podcast, produced by OneBook Pro, the app for local service professionals where you can find and book with the exact professional that you want to come into your home to provide a service. And that's what exactly we do on the show is I get to sit down and talk with local service professionals that provide a quality service within your community. Today, I got to chat with Pat Hudson out of St. Petersburg, Florida. He's with the Leak Guys, and he provides pool leak detection services. So if you need any leak help with your pool, if you own a pool out here in Tampa Bay, give Pat a call. He's available on the app to be booked, and just such a great guy, one of the coolest and funniest characters that I've ever met, and a very great pleasure to learn more about his story into the trade and starting his own service business. So without further ado, let's take a listen. I hope you enjoy this podcast as much as I did, and you get to learn some things about pools. So let's get into it.
Hi.
All right, man. Let's try to sit in this chair first.
It's a weird chair. I don't even know if it's... I don't even know if you can call it a chair.
It is nice though. It's like
It's a little loud.
All right. What's up, man?
Hi.
This is Pat Hudson, one of my best buddies out here in St. Pete. He's joining the podcast. This is Local Legends, is what the name is. I don't know if I told you.
That's what they consider me.
He is. Pat definitely is a legend in many ways. But I brought you on today because I want to learn more about you and your trade, which is pool leak detection.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just kind of get to know you. We'll go over some tricks of the trade and how potentially OneBook can help your business succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so just we're gonna have, I've got some fun questions. And to start off, if you want to just do a quick introduction of yourself and what you provide, the service you provide.
My name's Pat. I own the Leak Guys in St. Petersburg, Florida. It's a one-stop shop for pool leak detection and repair. I was field supervisor at one of the big companies for 14 years and decided to branch out on my own for more flexibility. And like if I was tired of anything there, it was the people under me not knowing how to do their job and me having to save a day every day, but really it was just more flexibility for, we have a 4-year-old kid, Sophia.
Sophia, yes.
It's weird like talking to you and talking to other people at the same time.
We're just chatting, man.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries.
So because a bunch of the stuff you already know,
yeah.
Right?
So you just started your new business, in February.
Yep.
Yeah. So you got started, and what got you into the trade to begin with? What made you start?
Well, when I was in college, up in Ohio, I started cleaning pools in the summertime. It's like a perfect summer job for a college kid.
Yeah.
Because that's when the only time they need you is in the summer, seasonal.
Right.
And then when I graduated in 06, came down here late 06, and then the economy collapsed, especially in places like Florida and Arizona. So it's like really hard here. Get that out of here. And so I just continued to clean pools with a college degree.
So you started out cleaning. Mm-hmm. And then got into leak detection.
Yeah, I was worked for a couple different cleaning companies, and then I found a leak detection ad on Craigslist, and it was like double what I was making cleaning pools. So I started doing that and stayed with this other company for 14 years, field supervisor, and, made really good money and, got really, really good at it. So, I just felt like I had done all I could do for that company, and I left and got my contractor's license, and here I am.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. That's awesome. I know
fancy
tools. You got a van. We've got the same ProMaster 2500.
Yeah, I think yours is longer. Mine's a 1500.
Is it?
Yeah, you got the 2500.
Oh, okay, yeah,
a little bigger.
But yeah,
you don't really.
I'm stoked that you. Yeah, no, I don't care. It's, the van's a van. But yeah, I'm super happy for you, man. That you. Got
it was a big jump. It was a big jump. It was, and it took a lot of planning to get to that. It wasn't just, start a business, the next quit my job and start a business. I had to get my contractor's license. I had a non-compete I had to deal with. I had to save money, like study and take tests and like buy a van and all the equipment. It was a lot of work. It took about a year from deciding to do it to actually like taking my first job.
And that you told me that your boss did the same thing with the company, or
sort of. He had my job. He was field supervisor, and so they have a non-compete agreement that says, "Hey, you can't, do this. We taught you how to do this, so you can't do it for anybody else than us," which is horseshit. But they're illegal now. But
they are.
In October, the federal government. You have to look it up. It's an FTC, which is, one of the appointed committees of the president. Like they did a study, and he wanted Joe Biden did this for us. It's not a bad thing for working guys, where they decided that non-compete agreements. They did studies. They didn't just think it up. They did 2-year-long studies where. It said that like $3 billion a year is being in wages is being wasted, or not wasted, not paid, because people don't have the mobility to look for a better job. 1 in 5 Americans is locked into their job, and if they want to leave, they have to either go 200 miles or something, or change industries.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah.
And it's not a fair marketplace for
sure.
Labor. So
even to start your own business with,
it
might make sense for competitors to like help, I guess, like smaller businesses from being targeted by bigger companies, maybe
like poaching their guys. Yeah.
But it makes sense to.
But you can poach their guys too.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Right? There's other that's non-compete agreements people put into a like a big box when it's actually a narrow part of that big box. So we call it non-compete agreements, but it's only one clause in that contract that you sign. There's another clause for trade secrets. There's another clause for non-solicit. I can't go across the street and take all my customers with me.
Yeah.
And there's another clause for non-solicit, non-disclosure, right?
Yeah.
So all those are still legal. It's just a non-compete. Like, hey, you can't go work for a competitor. Jimmy John's makes people sign a non-compete agreement.
That is crazy. Like you can't make sandwiches.
Yes, they can't go to another establishment that makes a certain amount of their money on submarine sandwiches or something like that.
Ridiculous.
It's insane.
That is,
and it's
the funniest example of that for sure.
It's a way to like keep people in their place.
Or like you can't make lemonade and sell it at a lemonade stand.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, we'll work a 5-year-old kid. Like, if you want to work my lemonade stand, I'm going to need you to sign this.
That's basically what it is, though. It's, but that's cool that you got out of it. And
yeah, I had to play a little hardball. Like, I still have a non-disclosure. I still have a non-solicit. I don't target his customers. I don't need to. There's plenty of business. But I got out of the non-compete I just said, hey, mine was 2 years or 80 miles. Like I had to wait 2 years to do the business or move 80 miles away. So I said, sign this piece of paper and I will stay here. If you don't sign the piece of paper, I'm going to leave and start my 2-year clock. Or if you do, I'll stay for 6 months. right? And he chose. I mean, we're friends.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a
business
good amount of
friends,
time
but,
too.
yeah.
I mean, to like ease out of it and help
Yeah.
them while you're still.
Yeah, and
doing
he had a way to like, you know, I didn't just up and leave, and
You
like
trained
I was
someone
very
else.
important there, not to like blow my own home, but I was
Yeah.
there for 14 years. I was really important, so he needed me.
Did
So
you train someone else to fill your position?
It's not that organized, that
Yeah.
company, but yeah, like I trained up some people, but not particularly for my position, because my position was just a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
You know, but yes and no is the
Yeah.
answer. It's not like these big corporations, they have like very specified, job descriptions.
Yeah.
It's not like that there.
Well, so going back to like the area, so we're in St. Pete, right?
Right.
Is that's the majority of your clients, or are you going out?
Yeah, well, I actually, I mean, it's been going. So I've been to Lakeland, I've been to Land O'Lakes, I've been to, Sarasota, and I've gotten too busy that I've cut out like basically all that. I do St. Pete 4 days a week, and then 1 day down in Bradenton usually right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I love talking about St. Pete.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
It's a great town. Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about St. Pete, how you came here, and because you're originally from Ohio, and
06. We started earlier. 06. Moved down here, clean pools. So me and my buddy Ryan, we went to college together, and a senior year of high school too, and we were just best buds in college. And his parents had moved to Tennessee while he was in college, and I just didn't like the weather in Ohio and wasn't as tight with my family. So we looked at a map, and we just put our finger, ran along the coast. We wanted to be on the water, and we went down the East Coast, Savannah. I don't know about Savannah. It's kind of like Old Town, Miami. I hear Miami's too expensive.
Yeah.
And then we come around the side and Tampa Bay. I've never been to Tampa Bay. Have you been to Tampa Bay? No. So we came down in August and we loved it, and we moved down in October.
That's
October.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's so
Saved
cool.
up all money, cleaning pools and serving tables, and had $3,000 in my pocket and moved 1,000 miles away.
Well, that's great for your expertise too, because pools are needed all around.
Yeah.
Right?
We say
all
there's
year long, so
there's two types of pools. There's pools that leak and pools that are gonna leak.
Yeah.
But it's not like this. It's a niche business, and there's always something to love and something to hate about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Depending on the time of year. So in the summertime, it's nice jumping in the pools to get swimming, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's hot out, but it sucks digging holes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other half of the job, is digging holes, right? And in the wintertime, it's not so bad digging holes, right? It's hard work, but it's not.
So it's not just finding leaks
though.
in the pool; it's when the whole system, so the pipes. And so that's where you're digging.
Pinpoint exactly where a broken pipe is under the deck using pressure equipment.
That's amazing.
But yeah, we also have cold water diving. I've got wetsuits, dry suits, all the hookahs, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's really valuable. Business is busiest in, I'd say, the wintertime, but really fall through spring. In the wintertime, the pool guys, they can find some of the easy ones, but they won't even put their hands in the water.
Yeah.
Because it'll get down to 50 degrees. I've seen it as low as,
it's like a cold plunge.
I've seen it. I've been in a pool that was 42. We had in 2010, January 2010, we had 10 straight nights of freezing temperatures.
Wow.
You were here.
No, definitely.
10 straight nights. And you would get to a pool in the morning, there would be ice in the pump. So the pump hadn't run all night. It's a smaller body of water.
Yeah, it's not built for that at all.
No, it's not good.
Not for
but yeah, and you would have to. I was just learning how to do it, and which sucks because you're in the water a lot longer if you don't know what you're doing, and your fingers wouldn't move anymore. They wouldn't fing.
Yeah. No, I get. I mean, I'm from the cold, obviously. I miss the cold, but
right now I'm sure you do.
For sure. I want to.
It's brutal out there.
But
my pool's 93 degrees.
It's honestly not that much hotter. It's probably hotter in Colorado right now. It's been
closer to the sun.
Closer to the sun. It's been not getting much rain.
I looked up last in Ohio. They have my cousin is looking to buy a pool because they have this wicked. He's gonna get a nice one, but he was asking me about it. But they've got an awful heat wave going on, and it's actually hotter there. Like when I talked to them, it was 81 here and 84 there, like as the sun was going down.
Damn.
Like, yeah, they're not prepared for that. I think it still gets cooler at night though.
Yeah.
Even though it gets hotter during the day because the ground heats up from the sun, and like we're buffered by the water, especially in St. Pete. Like you go inland, and like Tampa has never hit 100 degrees.
I thought we
Neither
hit it
St.
last
Pete.
year. The water.
I don't know. I always heard that. It's been a few years.
I think the water hit 100 last year.
Shut
The
up.
Gulf, yeah.
Oh God, that's brutal.
I know. It was like in August.
It was
it's
a
gonna
bad.
be but the last
didn't
2 years
rain.
has been it didn't rain at all.
Yeah.
This year's been better so far, at least.
That's what I was saying about the business. Like it hasn't slowed down yet, but now that it just started raining, I'm expecting it to slow down.
Yeah.
Right. So when it rains every day, either you don't know or you don't care if your pool's leaking. So the phone doesn't ring.
Is it hard to detect a leak? Obviously, because it's raining and like
It's
where's the water coming from?
Yeah, like if you don't know, like if it's filling up every day,
Yeah.
you mark the level. Even if you're trying to be scientific about it, doing like a bucket test to measure evaporation rate, it's vague.
Yeah.
It's vague.
So yeah, talk about your services. So you definitely do pool detection. Do you
Mhm.
offer any other service? Like you fix the leaks?
Yeah, I do structural crack repairs. I dig up any broken pipe. A lot of skimmer swaps. The skimmer in the wall of the pool, it sucks the leaves in. Those crack a lot, and you got to replace them. Core drilling. I don't know. Light that there's this plastic bowl. It used to all be metal, and we used to not have this problem. But there's this plastic bowl, like a salad bowl, behind the light that it's called a light niche, and it'll crack. And you can put putty on it, and it'll crack again next year. So I dig a lot of those up too.
Yeah.
That's a big job. Drain the pool empty and dig a big hole behind the light.
Gotcha.
Yeah, a lot of
What's the
jackhammering.
craziest job you've ever done? Like
Crazy.
on work.
I mean, I've seen some crazy pools, but if like the job, the way I make money is I do the jobs that I can get in and out in a day, like a skimmer swap, or like if it's too complicated or there's too much like cosmetics. I'm not a tile guy. I'll cut pavers. I'll do some tile work, but I'm not. So like I don't know how crazy something could be. I mean, I've dug up pipes that were never glued. I've dug up pipes that were put together with duct tape. I've had fence guys put their auger through a pipe. They don't know it's there, but there's a lot of weird ways that pools break. I've dug up holes that people have drilled through, like the pool fence guys. They'll drill right through them. They shouldn't be that shallow, but shit happens. It starts like geyser.
Yeah. What about like vegetation? Does vegetation?
I hate roots.
Mess with
Yeah. I'd rather bust through concrete than roots.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Because you'll never know when it ends.
Yeah. Palm trees, oak trees, like they just wrap around the pipes, and you can chip concrete off of a pipe, but you have to cut roots, and you could cut the pipe. You don't want to cut the pipe, right? I had one just the other day where it was just you got to fight for every inch. You got roots. Every inch. You're just like, I use this little either a sawzall for big ones or like just little pruners for little ones, and you're just like the palm.
Do they ever cause the leaks?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
especially especially oak trees, because they're just a lot more powerful, but they're slower. But I've seen every kind of tree. Palm trees will even cause leaks. People they'll want to hide their pool equipment, so they put it's one thing to put bushes around it, but they put like trees right on top because they don't see it. There's 20 pipes down there.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't want everybody to see it, and then it ends up breaking. It's inevitable. It's just a matter of time.
So how about one of my other questions is, what's your biggest pet peeve of customers? Like what just grinds your gears?
Well, making it difficult, like not paying is the number one. I'm pretty good with it because I get a rapport, and like they want to know what's going on. So like I get that conversation going, and but some people try to skirt payment,
altogether,
like drive in, or anything to like push it off, or I don't know. I don't know if it's on purpose, but I don't charge you till the leak's found. The leak's found. I did all this work. Like, don't make it difficult.
Yeah.
But really, like for my work, the pool needs to be. I say it when they call the first time, and then I say it when I call them in the morning on my way out there. Pool needs to be full to normal operating level and clean and clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they'll do all sorts. Sometimes it'll be low, sometimes it'll be green, sometimes it'll be green that morning, and they'll just dump a bunch of bleach in.
Oh God.
And like, yeah, and then the bleach, you can tell, like you can smell it, right?
Yeah.
Or I'll be, we use dyes a lot, and you shoot some dye in the water and it bleaches out the dot, like the colored dye. And you're like, oh Jesus, I'm not diving in this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it needs to be, it can be easy, but it can be very complicated. So I don't need like extra complications of the pool being low or the pool being dirty or whatever. So I would say that's the most common pet peeve. Like I say, clean, clear, and full to normal operating level. Clean, clear, and full to normal operating level. And they just don't sometimes.
Yeah. So you have to reschedule those?
Yeah. I mean, when I drive out there, I always, faced with, so like, yeah, I can check everything up top. I could probably find it as long as it's not lower than what I can see or reach, but I drove out there, so I always want to try.
Mm-hmm.
But then you take the more risk of, having a callback, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's still leaking. Like, well, I couldn't check everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll usually try. And if it's not a swamp, I'll at least try. Just don't dive it. But yeah, I like that. And I like my hair color, the way it is.
Yeah. So this question is more of like a home hack or tip for your pool goers. If there's anything that would, obviously don't want to keep you from not getting their business, but like, what would you recommend is like just a tip to help pool cleaners not get as many leaks?
No, this will be kind of along the lines of the last question because it ties in.
Mm-hmm. It's
called a bucket test.
Okay.
If I've had a bunch of freaking jobs this year because it's been so hot and dry, like you don't notice how little humidity that there's been in the air this spring, but it's been very low. So evaporation rates have been high. And like I know because I walk Thuy down to the park every day, and I can see Tampa crystal clear across the water. So people will call, and it's really hard to find a leak in a pool that's not leaking. I'll get out there, they hire me, and like that's the pet peeve. The pool's not leaking. The pool guys will make this mistake too.
Just evaporating.
Yeah. Like so the bucket test is a simple test that a homeowner, you can YouTube it. There's videos. It's on my website, anywhere. Anybody that knows, like, you should know the bucket test. It's just a scientific test where you take a bucket, you fill the bucket up almost full of water and put it on the first step of the pool. Right. So now putting it in the water, you're setting a control for evaporation. So putting it in the water will keep it about the same temperature as the water in the bucket, right? So that like minimizes that variable. Having it almost full, the pool's almost full, right? So the wind and the sun can hit it. And you mark the level in the bucket, and you mark the level on the outside of the bucket, the pool water level. Check it the next day. It should be clearly a difference the next day if you're leaking. Okay. And if it's too close to tell, I mean, it's not leaking. It just isn't.
Gotcha.
If you're guessing.
So they'll both, if there's not a leak, they'll both be the same, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Gotcha. So like your pool's going to go down the same. That's your approximate evaporation is the bucket, and the pool will go down. So, there are some caveats to it. Like if you are running your pool, especially if you're running your pool, the pool will have like waves, or you may have some water features, spillovers, waterfalls, whatever, that add to evaporation because it's just more water touching more air and the bucket's just flat. But you should be able to tell in 24 hours. It should be obvious. Yeah.
And I guess the other ones would be don't have your fence guys drill.
I mean, no, do it. Go ahead and do that.
But not like try to mark it out, right? So that they're not messing with the pipes. And then all the pipes,
when you build your pool, all the pipes should be buried 18 inches below grade. Like
Okay.
there's no reason. I've had a bunch of times where I'm cutting up a skimmer or a broken pipe or whatever, and I'm cutting my concrete saw, 14-inch saw, but the blade probably goes in 3.5, maybe 4 inches actually into the concrete, and the electrical conduit that goes to the light is in the freaking concrete, and I slice right through it. And you can't junction that underground, right? So you have to run a whole new light. They're very expensive.
Yeah.
And so like, and there's also less ground movement the deeper you have the pipes, right? So like have everything, no matter where it is on the pool, even if it comes up here, like once it hits the ground, it needs to keep going down 18 inches, and you'll have less issues.
That's awesome. That's a good one too. And then just don't plant the oak tree right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, don't do the oak trees. I hate digging up through roots, man. That's the worst.
I love oak trees. There's another tree. I don't know what the name is.
Trees are great.
Yeah, but not the invasive ones that grow like crazy and you can't barely keep. There's two that Rose won't let me cut because they're growing like nuts.
The one in the front?
In the back. Yeah. They're right by the oak tree. She thinks it's the oak tree, but oak trees don't grow that fast.
No.
The roots don't.
Crazy stuff.
And they're popping up everywhere. So it's the only thing I can really do is mow them down. And when I try to pull them up, there's such a root system right there. When I pull up one, it's like.
Do you know what it is?
I need to know the name, but.
I had a crepe myrtle in my front yard when I first bought the place, but they put it in crepe myrtles need a lot of sun. Yeah. And it's just not enough sun. So it was a poor excuse for a crepe myrtle. So I cut it down, and it wouldn't die though. It wouldn't thrive, but it would not die. It took me like 2 years of like cutting up the freaking roots, and it would, and then like I even had one of those grinder guys, like the stump grinders. This guy came out with a remote control stump grinder and ground the shit out of it. Came back. Damn. It was like a weed.
Yeah. Dude. No, those are exactly how they are at our house, and it's impossible to be on top of. Yeah. Like even if I try, I know I'm gonna be out there for an hour, like digging roots in like a 3x3 section.
This is your first house. You didn't own a house out in Colorado, did you?
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, me and my girlfriend had a house together.
Okay, so you did have to take,
yeah. But not like Florida. Florida plants grow insane.
Nothing lasts in Florida. That's like an added cost that they don't, they say, oh, insurance is more, taxes, whatever. Like you forget like a 30-year roof lasts 15 years. The sun just eats up everything.
Oh, for sure.
The water, like the fences don't last. You get a wood fence, I mean, good luck getting 10 years out of it. Yeah. It just rots at the base level, at the ground level. Nothing lasts.
I have a leak in my van. Do you have anything up top other than like a rack?
No. Yeah. I just have like I bolted some little like big J hook things to put pipes in. But.
Sometimes within like 3 months, especially in the summer, it beats like because I have the caulk up there to make sure there's no leaks. Yeah. But I always have to do it like every 3 months because the sun just
there's nothing that's gonna I don't know. Maybe you could try like some marine caulk like 4200.
I have. I've done it all, and it's
doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'll have to try some more. I have actually a marine boat hatch. That's what I use for the top.
I don't know if I have noticed that.
Yeah,
it's on the top.
Yeah, it's like the window.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I only open it.
Is there like a separate AC for the back of that thing? Or?
I have a fan. I don't have a big AC. I want to get a system for it. But my little battery system isn't powerful enough for a AC. They're making them more efficient these days, so you can run it on the engine. You can run it off the alternator, or you can get a whole solar system up there. But
I got this this cooler. It looked cool. It was an impulse buy on the internet. It's this cooler that is an AC.
So I have one too.
You got one?
Yeah, because it uses the ice.
Yeah.
To like.
You can have mine. It's fucking,
I have one.
It would be fine, like in a small space. I even tried it. We went to that festival, and we had a really big tent. I put it comes out cold, but like if there's any breeze or it's just not enough. It needs to be in like an enclosed space, and if you're in an enclosed space, it's hot.
It is.
So I don't know. It seemed like a good idea, but
Yeah,
I got a bunch of extra batteries.
My mom did the same. She bought it for me. She's like, I already have a solar cooler that I use. So like now I have 2 coolers, one for
the icy breeze. That's
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's a waste of money.
Let's see what else I got on this list, man. That's pretty much it.
I feel like we got on tangents where like I didn't really finish.
But I mean, I would love to talk about OneBook and kind of how we can help your business, because I know you've been on.
One thing about business owners, they will not stop talking about their business.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Let's talk about what challenges are you having within your business, and how can potentially a system like, well, I know you're using a Jobber too, right?
No, I have it's called House Call Pro as far as the CRM goes, and then I fired like Yelp. I got so busy, like I fired Thumbtack. Yelp was charging me. I fired them after 8 days. They gave me the pitch, and those guys are a ripoff. They're like a scam.
What are they charging you?
It was like $450 a month. I got, after 8 days, I called them up.
How many leads did you get? Did you get any in the 8 days?
I think I got one, and it wasn't a leak.
Oh yeah.
Like they weren't qualified like leads.
Yeah.
Same thing with Thumbtack, but they're a lot cheaper. But still, like they don't have, because it's such a niche, and they refuse to just put a keyword. I don't know how programming works, but put like a keyword. They have to say leak. You know, I got somebody from Yelp was. I had to go swap out some valves. Which, I can do, but it's not what I do, right? Like I have the niche on purpose, right?
So what kind of leads were you getting?
What's that?
What kind of leads were they sent, or like who's contacting you?
Like, oh, I need a new pump. I need like the valve swapped out. I have a new filter, like equipment issues, or a light. Like somebody wanted me to replace a waterfall, like or do some grout or tile or something. Like it just wasn't qualified leads, and you're paying for them. Like on Yelp, you're paying like, I was paying $450. Thank God for only 8 days. So they charged me like $108 or something. But you're paying for them that way. What's the other one? Thumbtack. Was it Thumbtack?
Thumbtack's definitely the lead one where you pay
per. Yeah. So
there's Angie's List, which is the same. Thumbtack's a more sane version of Angie's List, because Angie's, you'll be charged a higher price, but so are 10 other pool companies. Yeah. And now you're in a bidding war. Like, and Thumbtack's a little easier because
it's still kind of the same though. Because you click like, and is it only one person that gets the lead?
It is, but then right after you contact, they're like, hey, do you want to contact these other 3 pools?
Oh, right.
So they give you the option.
And every time they
you
click,
don't have to take it as a customer.
It sucks money out of somebody's bank account.
Exactly. Every time they click. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And they have this algorithm that you'll never understand. Like, we're going to charge you $8 based on the averages within your community. And
Thumbtack seemed better, but I still fired them because they weren't charging me as much, but they were charging me a lot for unqualified leads. All I ask is for them to say, somehow say that their pool is leaking. Like they're putting water in the pool and it's not something spraying out of the equipment, which I guess that's harder, like if it says leak, but there's plenty of pool guys that are happy to do that. Like I do the thing that they don't do.
So do you refer out a lot after those jobs? Do you refer to other guys?
I need to get some good referral sources, like as far as, or not sources, but like people to refer money
to.
I don't
services.
Part of the reason why I did this, and the only reason I'm not expanding, even though I could hire somebody, or I could take on a partner, is that I don't trust anybody. I only trust is it Scarface, Tony Montana? Who do I trust? Me. Who put this together? Me.
That's exactly what we want to help with OneBook is independence, be able to manage their businesses easier. Obviously you've done a great job with it, but a lot of people don't have the opportunity to, or don't know how to do the back end.
I think now that my service area has shrunk so much, that, like, I remember I was telling you about, like, when we were first starting, how I'm going to go to Sarasota and all this, and how's their scheduling tool going to work with that. I think it's fine now because I'll just put St. Petersburg. There's enough work in St. Petersburg. I don't have to drive across a bridge for work. So, it's a lot better for OneBook, being able to, somebody can I'll just have a day or a few days open for OneBook, and people just put their name on there.
So we're changing up a few things as far as once you're verified, your number will pop up. So it's basically like a glorified phone book, right? They can contact you, and then if they want to book a time with you, then you can say, just go through the app. You'll see my availability on there, and then they can book a time. And then we did add the maximum travel distance too. So whatever your zip code is, it'll base that distance off
like
of that.
25 miles from that. That's perfect.
Yeah. So
the only problem is it happened too fast. Like, I was worried about marketing, right? That, I was willing to go to Lakeland. I did a job in Lakeland. It's like
2 hours from here.
It's over an hour. It's like on a bad day, it could be close to 2 hours. It's like probably 75 minutes
on the way out to Orlando.
Yeah, halfway to Orlando.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, I can take it off my website, but I can't take it off the side of the truck. It says serving all of Tampa Bay. Damn. That was an expensive wrap. I guess I'm gonna have to stay.
Yeah.
But the next one
can't drive it too far.
It'll be St. Petersburg's finest.
Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, I definitely hope we can help you get more business on OneBook and people can.
No, I'm excited about it, man. Yeah, it's a great idea. It's
we're super excited. It's just taking a little bit longer to grow, but we've had some high quality guys like yourself join, and I love seeing that. Like, just independent dudes that provide a great quality service.
I think one of the this is just a theory of mine about Florida in particular. I think there's like way more money, like there's people move down here without a job, like they're retiring, right? They have all this, they save all their money, they come to Florida, they spend it, right? There's not an equal amount of labor because half these people that live here aren't putting labor in,
right?
So, there's another job.
You can take it if you want.
No,
add to the podcast.
So that's my second phone. I turned the other phone off, but that's the second phone I forgot.
Oh yeah, no worries.
So I think that, and this is in retrospect, because I was worried about like being able to grow the business. I've never had a business before, so marketing is the biggest question mark. When you're opening up a business, I think that if you, in Florida at least, I don't know about other places, but in Florida, if you open up a business, the phone's gonna fucking ring. The phone rings, and people give you money because there's more people to spend money than people to supply labor. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, we're setting up a system to try to capture those people looking for services, because right now it's if you don't find what you're looking for, you're kind of shit out of luck at the moment. But we're trying to build a way that you can post a job and then guys can apply for that job, right? So we're not charging anything for that specific connection. Like, you don't have to pay to be like,
you want to make it as easy as possible, especially in the beginning.
So right now, if somebody can't find a pool league guy, then they would basically fill out a form, and then you on the pro side be like, oh, there's a job that popped up for pool leagues, just to make that another connection route or avenue for you guys to connect.
And then it's there, it'll be like you'll search and like, hey, this guy was talking about pool leagues.
And so that will give us an opportunity to go out and try to find people in the area if we don't have them too. Right. So
what's your like day, as far as, getting the word out? I know that you're like, it's such a more macro thing that I'm used to. Like, if you're creating, this is everywhere. It's not just St. Petersburg. It'd be awesome if it's just St. Petersburg.
It is just St. Petersburg right now. Like, we're still technically in the beta version.
Okay.
Like I said, I mean, we have a launch, right? The apps, anybody can download it in the world, basically. But St. Pete's, where I'm still going out one by one, like making
you can go and knock on doors.
Yeah.
Here, right?
I call. I make calls, and that's the hard
figuratively knocking on doors.
Yes, exactly. Which is hard because
it'd be better if you just knocked on the door, because you got that smiling face. Like,
that's right.
It's so much easier than
FaceTime them.
Yeah.
I need to start doing that more, and but it's hard because you wouldn't want me just walking up to your house and talking about business, right?
No, but I get so many calls from, I get this one like every day. They try to make you think that they work for Google. When really they're just selling you Google AdWords, whatever, like how to boost your
SEO
presence. Yeah. And I get that freaking call every day. And so so it doesn't even seem like it's a real person. Yeah. Right. And I know it'd be like a lot to go knock on doors, but you're a real fucking local person that, that I feel like you have a trustable face. You have a trustable face. But somebody on the phone, they could be in Bangladesh calling you.
Well, my call rate actually is pretty good. Yeah. As long as I, talk to them for a little bit. I do get a lot of fuck offs. Don't ever call me. But that
comes with the business. Yeah, you're used to that.
That's part of the rule. So I don't mind. I'm like, all right, he's off the list.
Yeah,
that's an easy one. I'd rather have that than, how about you call me like next month? Like, no. Like, do you want to learn more now, or do you just not care? Like, it's free to sign up.
Yeah.
There's no strings attached at that point.
Yeah.
But calls are good. I want to start doing like postcards, because that might help out.
Yeah. Just as long as it has your pretty face on it.
I just start texting them pictures of myself. Hey, this is Ian.
I find it like I'll have there's a lot of it's kind of a melting pot here. We have like Indian population, there's a huge Hispanic population, Italians, and I find over the phone when they have that thick accent that it's really difficult to understand what they're saying. But when you're face to face, I don't know if there's body language, or you can see their lips and their subliminal, different things that I can just understand what they're saying a lot better.
For sure.
Especially the Asians. Like I can't tell what they're saying over the phone. And then when I get to their house, I'm like, oh, okay. That's it. Yeah.
I feel like that's just a basic communication thing too. Like, we've learned to communicate visually.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
That's why they were saying with with COVID, with the masks, that these kids were, at a disadvantage. Like Sophia grew up with a mask on, and you can't see somebody smile. Like you have to tell that they're smiling by their eyes.
And that's a great point of what we're trying to do on OneBook too, is right now you're calling a number, they're calling Pat. They don't know what you look like yet, unless they've gone to your website and seen all the pictures.
Sexy pictures.
But when you hire someone these days, you don't know who's coming to do your service until they show up at your door. Like,
and these big companies, they're desperate for workers, and they'll hire.
Their churn rate is ridiculous. And then they'll send the customer, maybe someone who's been there for 14 years, or someone that's been there a week.
Like, that's what I'm selling. Like I'll tell people, like, I'm really honest. I'm like probably too honest with people, but I'll tell them exactly. Like, that's what I'm selling them. You're getting, instead of the third time out, because this is the downside about leak detection, is that there's no way to immediately verify. There's some machines that they say will do it, but there's no way to know that I did my job before you pay me. You have to wait a couple days, right? You have to wait a couple days to see if the pool's still leaking. Because I could find six leaks in the pool, but there could be a seventh, an eighth, a ninth.
Yeah.
You don't know. I don't know. So where was I going with that?
Like coming back.
Yeah. So we could I totally lost my train of thought.
Well,
I think you're talking about, you said like 3 timeouts for the customer.
Oh yeah, so like we would have these guys that weren't that good. It just takes experience, really.
Mhm.
We teach you how to use the tools, but like finding leaks is a specialty. And I would be the third guy out. Like 2 guys would have to fail for them to finally get me out. So I just tell people like, hey, you're getting the best guy the first time,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then you have a lot better rate. Like some of the guys had like 25% callback rate.
Damn.
Like our schedule would be just full of callbacks.
That's why our system's so messed up with this lead generation process we have now. Is all these businesses are basically competing to try to get out there first, right?
Yeah.
And the customer has no idea. So they're like, it's free for them. So it's not that big of a deal. But the longer it goes on, the harder it's going to be to fix. And then you do have to, call another company to come fix it, or the company to keep coming back, get the third guy.
I think a lot of people like having the local guy that they can get to know. There's value. It might not be like they explicitly want that, but they look for somebody that they can have a relationship with, even for something like a pool leak, rather than like, I personally resist calling a big company, even though I know that they're going to show up when they say they're going to show up. I know they're in the long run, they're there to make as much money as possible. They've got, a lot of mouths to feed, and then they want to grow. Like I have a cap, and I'm fine with it. I could make X dollars a year, as long as I'm working, I'm making great money. As long as my schedule's full. So I feel the need to scale and like I just marketing be honest into it. Phone just keeps ringing. Like I could just be honest with people, and that I sleep better at night.
Well, that's the thing. Exactly what we're trying to do is, once you have that one person that you trust, you should be able to use them every single time without any troubles.
Yeah,
and like have a space where you can find them, see when they're available. Because that's the one thing about OneBook is, obviously it's there to help find new people, but the second and third and moving forward is where that relationship is super needed, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we want to help is, you'll see a lot of benefit as a pro and a customer the second, third, fourth, all the way, your whole life basically. You want to build those relationships.
I'm gonna put on my list. I'm gonna hire a handyman off of our because I got a bunch of stuff I can't get to because I'm too busy.
Yeah,
we were just talking about doing like a handyman deal to do some drywall and some.
Dave, he did the first. He's more like big construction, but Jack Sutphin's on there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna hire a guy.
I'm on there, but mainly just for testing. I still do some jobs
for
my neighbors and stuff.
You want to do some drywall and mold mitigation?
Oh, so Dave does. He actually does really good drywall. So that's his. He said he does drywall all day.
Yeah, I just need a guy to come and rip out all the drywall out of Sophie's closet. I know there's mold in there. Hose it all down with bleach and just put some more drywall on. I could do it.
Yeah,
I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I'm sure he would take it up.
Yeah,
I'll talk to him because I have to redo his podcast because it got messed up.
You got a handyman podcast?
Well,
no, it's your podcast.
This podcast.
Okay. I'm like, dang. That sounds like the comedians do it. I go on your podcast.
Yeah, right.
On my podcast. We keep on making podcasts.
I'm gonna hopefully start joining some because that's the great thing about St. Pete. Everybody loves local.
We're kind of out here, like, we're on the peninsula. It's a pretty big city for how much space there is.
Dude, I was just talking about this with another person. I never knew about St. Pete. Florida just was not on the map for me, living or like.
You grew up in the mountains.
Yeah, I grew up in the mountains, but I went to like Orlando once.
Ew.
Yeah. So I only knew when you retire, you go to Florida,
Yeah.
But then Tampa Bay, once I drove through, obviously I met Rose, but
it's been like a renaissance too. Like it's 20 years ago, St. Pete, nobody went to St. Pete.
Yeah.
Nobody. Like we lived in Tampa, and it was still, 18 years ago is how long I've been here, but it wasn't until like 09, 010 that it started getting more interest from not just, people with money that want a second house or a condo downtown, but like a lot of arts like Bohemian, the Rosie was pretty into some of that stuff down Central. But yeah, it's they didn't start doing all those murals until like 2012. Awesome. Like it's really grown as a city in a lot of ways, like not just building more houses, but like culturally.
That leads into my last question. Probably is like, what's your favorite local spot in St. Pete?
Food
or to hang out. I know you're a big music guy.
The Blueberry Patch was fun the other night. That was only so like fun. Once a month.
Is it only once a month?
They have like an open mic night on one Saturday. Then they have like an actual concert like that is only once a month.
Yeah.
And they have like some sort of volunteer day. I've never done it.
Yeah. So for those who are listening and gotten this far in the podcast, Blueberry Patch is the biggest hippie spot I've ever been, but it's so much fun. It's
really
bring your own beer and
cheap. BYOB,
recycled art everywhere, which I love.
Yeah,
it's a very cool, chill place.
I mean, I love Fort DeSoto.
Yeah,
Fort DeSoto's got everything for me. They got the beach, they got fishing piers, kayaking, camping. That's a big one for me. But I'd say downtown, either like Ale and Witch or it's like an outdoor venue with live music and a whole bunch of beers, or Ruby's Elixir. I guess those are my jams.
Ruby's is a lot of fun. The cigar bar. Me and my cousin Bobby went and
they always have
some music. Cigars and just listen to this music.
Yeah, they have some killer blues. Yeah. They have a standard for who they're putting on that stage. Some of these other places don't. Just any guy in a guitar they'll put up there just to have music, but. They, it's a tiny space with a tiny stage, but they rock out.
Did you go to, have you been to Hookin' Ain't Easy yet?
No, we always have this conversation.
I know, you have to. They have a little, he's a solo guy.
I want to go.
We got to go soon.
Yeah.
Especially date. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Well, man, you guys can find Pat if you have a pool leak that you need help with.
TheLeakGuys.com and the OneBook.com.
On OneBook Pro, the app, you can download it or find him at his website, TheLeakGuys.com.
Yep. And it's only me. TheLeakGuy.com was taken.
Yeah. He doesn't even do leaks, does he?
No, it was like
he's
a guy in like New Jersey. Yeah, it was way out there. Yeah. Dang. The website looked like it was from like 1992. It was like you saw it.
Yeah.
It was awful. I think it's down now. I think I looked it up recently. It's not there.
Might be able to pick it up.
Yeah.
I think that once the domain expires, you have like 4 months.
But now I'm the Leak Guys. It's on the side of the van.
Yeah. Just cross out the S.
Or
if you have both,
and serving all of Tampa Bay. Just cross that out, put St. Petersburg and Guy.
Well, man, I appreciate you doing this with me and obviously being supportive with OneBook, and hopefully we can help your business and grow together.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Love you, man.
Love you too.
Appreciate it, bro.
All right, shut this off, see if it worked. I'm famous.